Hey y'all, I'm Melissa Guerra. I am the Kitchen Wrangler, and if you haven't subscribed already, would you hit that subscribe button? You know this is the best place to find all of the good recipes from here in South Texas. This week's recipe is arroz con leche, which basically means rice with milk, but it is a rice pudding that is very authentic to the ranch lands here in South Texas. I ate it all the time when I was growing up. I really love it, and it's surprisingly simple to make. Only about 4 ingredients. The most difficult part of this recipe is all the time it's going to take you for stirring it. But at the end of the day, when you taste the result, you're going to say that was time well spent. It's delicious, it's easy, and you know you want to make it, you know. So hit the subscribe button and let's get started on our arroz con leche. Like I said, this recipe does not have a lot of ingredients. We need 6 cups of milk, 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of sugar, and some whole cinnamon sticks. That is it. You also need a heavy Dutch oven or a saucepan that's really nice and heavy. I have a cast iron enameled saucepan that I absolutely love. I'm gonna put a link to this type of saucepan in the comments below. And I like the heaviness of this pan because it helps prevent our arroz con leche from scorching. Scorching is probably the #1 problem with arroz con leche. The solution to that is to keep stirring it. From the minute you pour the milk in the pan until you finish, you gotta keep stirring, 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 stirring. Heat the pan on the stove and add the milk. We're also gonna add the whole cinnamon, and what will happen is that the heat in the milk will cause the cinnamon oil to release. It's such a beautiful flavor and very, very different from ground cinnamon. It's much richer, a little bit tangier. I think you're gonna like it. Once the milk starts to simmer, now it's time to add the rice. And don't forget, do not stop stirring. Even if you stop stirring for a minute, you might get a little scorching point at the bottom of your pan. Turn the heat down to simmer, and we're gonna simmer our arroz con leche for about 20 minutes. As you stir, you'll notice that the milk in the arroz con leche is getting thicker and thicker. So what the stirring does is, in addition to stopping any opportunity for the milk to scorch, you're also loosening up the starch from the rice, and that gives an extra creaminess to your arroz con leche. It's so delicious. After about 20 minutes, you need to test 1 grain of the rice and make sure that it's very, very tender. And that tells you that your arroz con leche is almost completely cooked. At that point, you need to add the amount of sugar that you want and then cook and stir for about another 5 minutes, and then you are done. Now, this recipe calls for 1 cup of sugar, but you know, people have different tastes. You know, you may want less sugar, you may want more sugar. That is fine, but just make sure that you don't add the sugar until the very end of the cooking process. Otherwise, your rice won't cook correctly. And just so you know, the milk that I used is lactose free, which really works well for my family. You can absolutely make this recipe with soy milk, with almond milk, with oat milk, whatever non-dairy milk you like. However, some of those non-dairy milks have extra added sugar. So before you add the sugar to this recipe, just make sure to taste it out and add a 1/4 cup at a time until you get the right level of sweetness that you like. At this stage, you can also add dried fruit. You can add chopped dried apricots or dried cherries, dried cranberries, dried date. I know there's some of you out there that do not like raisins in your rice pudding. I hear you, but I have 2 words for you: golden raisin. Hear me out. I think they're worth it. They're really delicious. Give them a try. Add your dried fruit while the arroz con leche is still hot, and then you're done. Don't forget to top your arroz con leche with a little bit of ground cinnamon. There's one more variation on arroz con leche, and that is atole de arroz. And an atole is a type of porridge, but you can drink it like a beverage. So you can have all sorts of grain-based atoles, but atole de arroz is so gorgeous on a frosty, cold afternoon. So I encourage you to give that a shot. The way you make atole de arroz is simply make your arroz con leche and then thin it down with a little bit more milk. Warm it up and then simply add it to a mug, and I topped mine off with a little bit of ground cinnamon. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for that recipe request. And you know, if you have any questions or you have a recipe request, you can message me at help@kitchenwrangler.com, or you can message me through Instagram, through Twitter, through Facebook, through TikTok, or even here on YouTube. You know, I'm always looking forward to hearing from you. Make sure you subscribe. I'm Melissa Guerra. I'm the Kitchen Wrangler, and I'm looking forward to seeing you here at the ranch again soon. Bye now.